In 2008, during the development of Treyarch's Call of Duty World at War, a designer by the name of Jesse Snyder had one idea for a game mode that would change the course of Call of Duty's history, forever. This idea became what is known today as Call of Duty Zombies. It was decided to allow players the ability to unlock the game mode after completing the regular campaign. Little did they know, it would also birth a whole new universe before their very eyes. Nacht der Untoten was the very first map introduced into the COD Zombies universe, and upon loading into the map, immediately there was something oddly strange about it all. The silence and emptiness of the broken down bunker brought a sense of impending doom, and sure enough, as you looked out into the thick fog, you found eyes staring back at you. As the zombies ripped away the boarded up windows being the only protection between you and the horde, it became apparent that no one was coming to save you.
Only time will tell what new questions await us in this theater of the damned.
As a teenager, I remember playing the Black Ops Zombies map Kino der Toten for the very first time. I would have such a profound sense of isolation, as if I was the only person left on the planet. This feeling was especially strong as I stepped outside the theater and looked beyond the boarded up barricade. It made me feel as if there was a world out there in which I had no permission to explore. In order to understand why zombies brought such a feeling, I must first explain the reason isolation feels so uncomfortable in the first place. Humans have always been social beings, and that has ensured the survival of humanity for hundreds of thousands of years. Being a part of a group or community gives each person a sense of security. Being alone meant one could be vulnerable to the dangers of predators and/or lack of resources. The developers at Treyarch understood this natural fear, and using every game design tool possible, they carefully constructed a world that was never in the player's favor. How did they do it, you might ask? Well, first off, the game throws you out into the world with nothing more than a handgun that over time becomes less effective at defending against the undead. You then begin looking for any resources you can, such as wall guns and perks, but it was the mystery box and Pack-a-Punch that truly defined the zombies' experience. Walking up to that beautiful glowing box felt like finally reaching salvation, while you think, maybe this time is different, maybe I'll... Pack-a-Punch felt like a checkpoint in a game, and was oddly comforting, no matter the map, because as that weapon was handed back to you, it brought back a sense of control in the chaos. Although these tools gave us more comfort to keep pushing through the never-ending rounds, it was the subtle design choices Treyarch implemented that truly made us feel alone. No other game set the tone quite like Black Ops 1 did. As you were trapped in the interrogation room, a shadowy figure would watch you through the glass. This situation only became more strange when choosing zombies. As the room shifted to a red tent, the interrogator would then walk away from the window, only for you seconds later to be staring at what seems to be human, no more. This simple addition made the game feel almost like it was really me in that chair, and I remember being younger rushing through the menus in order to avoid the entire thing.
Prior to the destruction of our headquarters, our research found evidence that contaminants are now infecting the very air we breathe.
The term zombie was first recorded in the 18th century, belonging to Haitian folklore, and while being more of a metaphor for the horrors of slavery, this term would soon take on new meaning. When George A. Romero in 1968 released the film Night of the Living Dead, he set out to create an atmosphere that was never seen before. The undead sporting gnarly mutilated skin and drunken sloppiness of movement became the staple for Western media's depiction. While making a huge hit in pop culture, it also installed a newfound fear within us all. One thing that has always caught my attention growing up was the way the maps made me feel. I never wanted to see another human being so bad in my life, because as you load in you realize, although you are alone, you are being watched. There is nothing more terrifying than realizing you are facing this now bleak and decayed planet, devoid of all living life, and often found comfort in the little pieces of humanity that would oftentimes be passed by in regular gameplay. A prime example being when Treyarch released Black Ops 2 Zombies on November 13th, 2012. There was always a sort of deep mystery about what chaos is displayed in these absolutely beautiful, yet haunting loading screens. During gameplay, passing through the maps was an experience closest to a dreamlike state. Because to be alone with memories of thriving life reminds us of the simpler times and brings a comfort to the eeriness. Oh hey, it's an old cowboy saloon. Or on the map Die Rise when walking through the sewing room and thinking, wow, those elevators need maintenance. This is an essential piece of the complex experience because we naturally seek validation of our existence in many mediums. It is not selfish to crave proof you exist. This is what the developers provided to us with the intent of bringing an experience, a core memory. It would almost be bliss knowing you are now facing the world on your own. With no one to lean on, you needed to take care of the last living thing, and that being yourself. Such games brought us life lessons in a form that gave us a sense of control in a world that is already unpredictable. Playing with friends in co-op mode, you could tell that we all depended on each other in some way or another. Every time I passed by my teammate, he would validate my existence, and that was what made the experience so real, knowing we are sharing the same internal battle, fearing the unknown. The reason these games bring such discomfort are a combination of elements that Treyarch had in their toolbox. One element that sets the tone is the incredible map design. Their ability to achieve such beautiful and haunting liminal landscapes is nothing short of perfect, and it was not uncommon to end up feeling immersed within the lonely corners of the world, all the way from your bedroom. Another essential piece is the eerie frequencies that accompanied such landscapes, in a way that made you feel there was someone or something acknowledging you exist. Walking around the map, you can hear faint radio transmission bringing you a voice from another human, yet exists far out of reach.
I'll do it for you and the flesh.
The ambiance of everyday items moving about echoed through the rooms that were now abandoned and made it feel almost stuck in time. When you stare off into the boarded up windows, you can hear noises coming from hidden areas that make it hard to tell whether it is proof of humanity or a dark energy teasing you. Treyarch's character design was immaculate because it knew exactly how to add to the experience of isolation by creative choices such as the uncanny faces of the buried witches as they run those pockets, or the unique zombie character skins for each map that tell an actual story of who these people used to be. I remember many days after school I would come home and play zombies, getting lost within the world in an almost peaceful way, because although there was chaos, I was able to exist fully in the moment. Still, with this terrifying loneliness being so prevalent within the franchise, it also came with many lessons. By enduring and adapting, it allowed it to feel like more than just eliminating monsters. It was an escape from the daily noise that opened up the ability to reflect meaningfully on what we normally take for granted. We are always afraid of being alone, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. When battling with a fear, it is only until then you learn what makes up you. We can only control the decisions we made that can then start to positively or negatively affect the world surrounding it. Treyarch, using their secret sauce, birthed one of the most pivotal eras in gaming history. It brings a nostalgic feel because it can be remembered how it felt going through the uncomfortable all alone, yet coming out twice as strong. Even a decade later, I find myself replaying the old titles, being able to exist once again in a distant memory.